Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to solve problem number 2. So let's see our problem statement, and that is password generator. You can see the problem statement here on my screen. So you are supposed to make a strong password generator. For that, take input from user using 3 separate lines. All the vowels in the first line should be converted to hash. All the consonants in second line should be replaced with @ symbol, and for the third line it should be converted to its uppercase, and at the last of the password, the length of password and the sum of all the divisors of the length should be there. So here is for example, here is our input u, because user will give input in 3 separate lines as mentioned in our question, and the output should like this. You can see in the first input there is a vowel, that is o, and o has been replaced with hash, and in the second string there is a consonant r that has been replaced with the @ symbol, and u is totally converted to its uppercase, and at the last, as in question it's mentioned that 9 is the length of the total password. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 9, and 13 is the sum of all the divisors of 9, because 9 has the divisors like 1 3 and 9, and the sum of them is 13. So in this format output will come. So जब ये क्वेश्चन पहले आप देखते हो तो what comes at your mind first? तुम्हें बेसिकली करना क्या है कि 3 इनपुट लेना है यूज़र से. यूज़र जो इनपुट देगा वो स्ट्रिंग होगा, एंड स्ट्रिंग इज कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ कैरेक्टर, राइट? सो योर फर्स्ट टास्क इज टू चेक ईच एंड एवरी कैरेक्टर इन string, and when you find that a character is vowel, you will simply replace that vowel with hash. Same for the second string, you will check each and every character in that string, and when you will see that that character is consonant, you will replace that character with @ symbol, and like this, and after that you will merge them in a line and you will show the output. So our first task is to complete up to this uppercase, and about 913, this 913 we will look after that. Okay, तो चलो अपना एडिटर में चलते हैं और कोडिंग शुरू करते हैं. तो फर्स्ट we will make a function. Suppose check vowel or check word, and it takes 3 strings A, B and C. Okay, now make a variable that contains 5 vowels, and we all know that A, E, I, O is set of vowel. Okay, so now it's time to read all the characters in string A. So for that, for I in A, if I in vowel A dot replace I with so हमें vowel को किससे रिप्लेस करना है? We have to replace vowel with hash symbol. Okay, with a hash. Okay, so what I did here is I'm reading all the characters in string A, and I'm checking if I belongs to this set of vowels. If there are any characters that belongs to vowel also, I will replace that character with hash symbol, and that is our target. Okay, so like this we will do for second string, that is we have to convert all consonants to @ symbol, and for this I will do same, but here instead of I write here J. Okay, and we replace B dot replace J को हम replace करेंगे with @ and here we are checking for consonants, so the character should not be included in the set of vowels. So for this, if J if J not in vowel, okay, so अगर सेकेंड केस में ये देखेगा कि अगर vowel के सेट में नहीं है तो वो होता है consonant, because out of 26 alphabets there are only 5 vowels and rest of 21 are consonants. So अगर vowel के लिस्ट में कोई कैरेक्टर नहीं आता है तो वो ऑब्वियसली कॉन्सोनेंट है, और जब भी वो कॉन्सोनेंट देखेगा @ से रिप्लेस कर देगा, यही काम है. एंड फाइनली हम प्रिंट करेंगे कॉन्वर्टेड पासवर्ड को, एंड फॉर दिस तीनों स्ट्रिंग को कॉन्कैटिनेट करते हैं A + B प्लस, and our last thing is to convert the third string to its uppercase, and for this C dot upper. Okay, this function should return this thing in a printed format. Now let's write a driver code, check word, give 3 strings, how are you. Okay, let's try the output. Okay, so you can see that here in first string how, O has been replaced with has, R has been replaced with something is not correct here. Okay, oh see, I'm here doing with string B, and I have mentioned there A, so how can it work? Sorry, let's now check. Okay, so you can see that in the first string O has been replaced with has, in the second string consonant that was R has been replaced with @ and the third string has been totally converted to its uppercase. तो मैंने गलती क्या किया था पहले कि मैंने यहाँ पे A लिख के रखा था, A, तो A क्या करेगा कि मुझे तो A नहीं चाहिए, यहाँ पे A के लिए मैं पहले ही लॉजिक बना चुका हूँ, मुझे यहाँ पे B को पढ़ना है, मीन्स सेकेंड स्ट्रिंग को पढ़ना है, और उसके ऊपर जो काम करना है. I have to play with string B, so for this that should be B. That was my fault. Okay, up to this is clear. Now rest of the task is this: to print the length of the password and to print the sum of all the divisors of that length. Okay, so how to calculate the length of any string in Python? There is a function that is called length. We will use that. Okay, so here instead of print, I'm storing this in a variable named final, and final len final, this gives me the length of that password, and I'm storing this in a variable called final len. And if I print final length. Sorry. Okay, now let's check if it prints 9 or not. You can see that it printed 9. So I will simply, because see, this len final, this is a integer, it returns 9, means it is a integer, and if I want to merge this 9 at the end of that converted password, I can't do, because string can be concatenated with string type data also. Okay, so for this मुझे यहाँ पे डेटा टाइप कास्टिंग करना होगा, and I will make it a string, means now 9 will be considered as a string and we can easily concatenate that with our converted password that was previously generated. So now I will just concatenate this final length should be at the last of the password. Okay, so see, up to that is clear. Now our task is to find the divisors of 9 and show the sum of all the divisors of 9. Now let's focus on that part. Now our task is to find all the divisors of 9. So for this, we will so for now I'm changing it to integer, because I have to iterate up 0 to 9. So for this I can't iterate a string in a range. So for this I'm changing here, and the print statement should be commented out. So for I in range 0 to final length plus 1, means here I'm iterating 0 to 9 for this case. Final length plus 1 if final length modulo I equals 0, list 1 dot append I. Okay, and I'm getting here a blank list I. Okay, and print list 1. Now see what it returns. मैं यहाँ पे क्या किया हूँ, मैं 0 to I iterated the from 0 to 9 the length of that password, and मैं यहाँ पे चेक किया हूँ कि अगर that is divisible by all the I in that range, and for this case each and every element will be appended to a blank list, and it returns the ultimate list that contains all the divisors of 9 in my case. Okay, so here is some problem. Oh, this should be in between range from 1 to final length. One, 3 and 9. Okay, so I don't want to show my output in this format. So for this making this blank list out of the loop. Okay, and print that here. You can see that it prints the list that contains all the divisors of 9. Okay, so now I have to find the sum of all elements in that list. So for this, if I print simply sum of list 1, it will return me the sum of all elements in that list, that is 13. Okay, so now my task is almost over. Okay, so now I will just concatenated each and every string individually to display the final output. Okay, so my first string will be final plus. Final is my the converted password. There was no 9 and no 13, means this contains only characters, this part, final part. After that, I want to show the size of that password, and for that purpose I have already calculated the size of that has been stored in final len variable, but that is integer type, so I have to convert it into string for string concatenation operation, and for this I have just made it in string. Okay, and after that I have to print the sum of all the elements, and that is also integer, so I have to convert that into a string sum list 1. Okay, now let's see if it working or not. It worked, you can see. So this is the input has been defined in the code itself, and I don't want to do like this. I have to take user input. So for this, here is a equals to input. I will take user input, b equals to input, and by default, I should say by default all the input are in string data type, are of string data type. Okay, so user will give input, and that will be stored in a, b, c accordingly, and I will pass a, b, c here simply, and that will do the same task. Just difference is that इस केस में मैं पहले से कोड में मेंशन कर दिया था कि मेरा इनपुट क्या होगा, और मॉडिफाइड वर्जन में अभी मैं यूजर से इनपुट लूँगा. +1 चक. You can see the final output, that is in first string, that is +1, a and u has been converted to hash. In second string chuck, c, h and k has been converted to @, and RABORTY has been converted to its uppercase, and the total length of that password is 17, and there are at the last there is a sum of all the divisors of 17. And what are the divisors of 17? Like 1 and 17, there are no more divisors of 17, so 1 plus 17 is equal to 18. So like this, yes, it worked. So this is the solution. Hope you like this.